What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. It's Kira. My name is Night Kira. So by the title, this is going to be a stats video slash my college application process and any tips that I may have for you, including like scholarships, stuff like that. So this is gonna be pretty long because I have several parts to it, and I wrote everything down on 2 pages worth. So it's gonna be a little long, but we're gonna get through it. So I'm not even going to talk too much. Just make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you can see anytime that I post. It's Summer Year Girls. It's actually out of school, done with school. Been done about 2 weeks now. I was done by May 8th. Today's like what's today? 17. So, some days. Almost 20 days. What? Can I count? Almost 10 days. So it hasn't even been 10 weeks. I mean 2 weeks. You know what? We're gonna get into the video. Okay, so my intro was literally everywhere. But bear with me, you know. I just got off of work and this is my second time filming this video, and it's about to be 12 o'clock in the morning. Well, I wouldn't say just got off of work, but it's about to be 12 o'clock in the morning and this is my second time filming. But it's okay, because this will be a structured video, seeing as I have notes. So, I'm gonna just start off right off the bat with standardized testing, my score, stuff like that. Number 1, I hated it. I hate everything about standardized tests. Literally. Yeah. So, when it comes to me, I've been taking the ACT since 7th grade, once a year. Yay. Simply because, I was in the Northwestern Center for Talent Development Program. I guess I technically still am. I just have not been active this year or my junior year. 2 busy years, so I stopped. But basically, through that program, they've tracked my progress with scoring and stuff like that. If you want more details of that, just you can inbox me, because I know. But yeah, so those are like a whole bunch of unofficial tests that I've done, basically to practice for official testing. Which, so for like, I've taken it officially to me twice. And I got a 26 both times. My categories were just different scores. But yeah, so with that I was able to super score for a whole bunch of my schools. But like, I got a 26 both times. When it came to the SAT, I hated it even more than the ACT, so I just didn't like it. Hated it so much. I don't even know what it is about it, but it's just, I prefer the ACT. Yeah, so when it came to my second time taking it, I was reaching for, my goal was a 30. Obviously did not happen. But like, I was okay with it. Once I took it the second time, I got the same score. I was like, alright, I'm done. This is just not for me, and we're gonna go with it. So yeah. But I was reaching for a 30 because I felt like with all the schools that I was applying to, that it would get me into all of my schools, and I felt like that was like my main focus, which it should not be, and that's why I'm doing this video, so that y'all don't focus on that. But yeah, and then when it came to AP tests, I'm actually going to tell y'all my entire schedule throughout high school and how many AP tests that I've taken. For all the AP classes that I've taken a test for each one, have never passed. So yeah, AP tests are not for me either. I don't know what it is about AP tests. I think it's because they word them differently than how we'll learn them in class, at least at my school. It doesn't help me, because it's like I was taught this way, but once I get to the AP test, it's different. So therefore, I would not pass. Yeah. So now I'm just going to go into my high school schedule. So this is going to be me telling you every single course that I've taken from freshman year to senior year. My senior year was a special year. This past year that I've just finished was a special year. And we'll get into that once I get to that year. So I am going to go in order. If you would like to skip, I will have the timestamp to my senior year discussion, because I feel like that's like an important part. So I'll just have the timestamp here. And yeah, so I'm going to just go ahead and get started. So, I basically have always been in honors or AP classes, unless it was a required course that everybody has to take. Yeah, so I've also, I've been in band since 5th grade, so beginning band. I've been in band since then. My mom would not let me quit, so yeah. So, starting off, for me it started off 8th grade because 3 of the courses that I took in my junior high years transferred to high school so I could get credit for it. So I took Algebra 1, Algebra 1 honors, Geometry honors, Spanish 1 honors, all in 7th and 8th grade that went to high school. So then I was set more advanced in high school, so I could take less courses or whatever. And then also over the summer going into my 8th grade year and the summer going into my freshman year, I took courses at Northwestern through the CTD program that I mentioned earlier, so I got credit for those too. I took a creative writing course and a nonfiction writing course. So yeah, and then going into my freshman year, I took Advanced Algebra Trig Honors, which was basically Algebra 2, AP Human Geography. Did not pass, of course. Did not pass the AP test. I passed the class. I've been on high honor roll throughout my entire high school career, so I've had either all A's or A's and a couple of B's. Then I also took Biology honors, English 9 honors, freshman seminar, everybody had to take it. So it was basically like a regular class. PE, everybody had to take, just a regular class. Spanish 2 honors, and wind ensemble honors, which is band, but like the upper level. Then my sophomore year, I took AP Psych, Jarvis Ed / PE, English 10 honors. And the second semester, I had to take health because I was with our Jarvis Ed course. So if you took Jarvis Ed, you had to take health. Took Chem honors, Pre-Calc honors, Spanish 3 honors, and then wind ensemble honors again. So with my freshman and sophomore year, freshmen and sophomores at my school were only allowed to take 1 AP course a year because there were 2 semesters. So you're only allowed to take 1. And then after our year for AP Psych, no sophomores could take AP Psych after us. Then my junior year is when I went crazy because I knew my senior year that I would not want to be at my high school. So I decided I wanted to take as many courses as I could to get it out the way. Well, courses that I wanted to take but get them out the way. So basically for me, my junior year, I wanted to combine senior courses that I would have taken if I stayed at the high school and junior year courses. So I took Anatomy and Physiology honors, AP Biology, AP Calculus, AP Spanish, AP World, dual credit English instead of AP Lit, and wind ensemble honors. So with dual credit English, dual credit is when you take a college level course at the high school. So you get college credit for it if you pass. So I passed. So basically that English got me English 1 and English 2 credits that will transfer to the college that I go to. So yeah, like I said, that year I took 4 APs in a dual credit class. Did not pass any of my AP tests. That would have been nice, but I didn't pass. So yeah. But I ended my junior year with all A's. Hardest year. It's junior year is your hardest year because that's when you're doing all the standardized testing, stuff like that. My largest workload, still passed with all A's. So yeah. Now, when it comes to my senior year, the reason why I did all that is because my senior year, going into my junior year, I applied for our early college program. So basically with my school, we have the early college program where you apply, and if you get in, you go to the local community college rather than high school, and you take, like, you're a college student, you take college credits, but it's dual credit basically. So I was still a senior, just not at the high school. I was taking college credits. So when I go off to college, I will have a bunch of credits under my belt that will push me more towards my degree, but I am still a freshman. So yeah, cool. So, and if you have any type of program like that, I do recommend it, unless you are a person who can't leave their friends, you know, at the high school or stuff like that, or like you want to be involved in every single activity that your school does, then I would not recommend it. But me, I have 3 friends, so yeah, one of them goes to a whole nother school in a whole nother district, and my other 2 went with did the early college program with me. So it wasn't hard for me. I stayed involved in all of my school activities, which I'll go into after this. And I didn't like my high school. Just Yeah, so it was real easy for me. So basically, as a first semester, I did Intro to Literature, which was a hybrid course. It was half online, half in class. U.S. History up to 1877 because it was, so basically my first semester, I had to get all of my graduation credits out the way, like stuff that I needed to graduate. So that was U.S. History, and then I had to take Principles of Economics and American Government. So my first semester was made for me because I had to get those out the way. Then second semester, I took American Lit, U.S. History 1877 to present as as the second half of my U.S. History requirement, General Chemistry 1, and Statistics. So my first semester, I still got all A's. Second semester kicked my behind. So we're just gonna leave it at that and keep it pushing. Yeah, and so even doing the early college program, the only class I still had at the high school was band because my mother would not let me drop it. If it was up to me, I would have dropped it and not been at the high school at all because it would have made my life a lot easier. So I stayed in band. Went down to honors still. But yeah, if you have any questions about that, and like if your school does that and you feel like it's similar to my situation and you want more about my experience, once again, you can DM me on Instagram or on here and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. So now that I have my schedule out the way, I'm going to go into all of my clubs and extracurriculars that I've done because I stayed with it throughout my career, my high school career, whatever you want to call it. And these were all things that I listed on my college application. So yeah, I was in National Honor Society, then I was in Student and Class Council. Students for the Ethical Treatment of Animals was started by one of my classmates, and she started it my sophomore year, and I've been in it since then. Students Against Destructive Decisions, I was in all 4 years. If you want to look Students Against Destructive Decisions up, I would recommend it. What did I do? I was actually like really involved in it. We didn't have any like officers or nothing like that, but I was always one who would like help put together assemblies, stuff like that. So we do the prom assembly every year, which is Please Return on Monday. So it's basically talks about like drunk driving and being safe during prom, stuff like that, and then like senior skip day, stuff like that. I would help run that. I was in marching band for all 4 years. That starts in high school, so I was doing that. I did tennis for 3 years. I was on JV and varsity, and then my senior year I was co-captains with so I was a co-captain. I was co-captain, and I was also in the Triad Music Honor Society, which is like if you're in band, orchestra, or choir, stuff like that. It's an honor society for that. I've done several like different volunteering stuff. Yeah. And then I was also in the Upward Bound / TRIO program, and basically it's a student services, like almost tutoring kind of thing that helps first generation low income students, which I kind of mentioned earlier. Did I? I don't remember. But I am a first generation low income student, so that's how I got into there. And then you have to have a certain GPA to get in the Upward Bound program, and that starts in high school, and so I've been in it since freshman year, and I did TRIO 7th and 8th grade. So yeah, and basically it has played a large role in everything that I've done throughout my high school career. Just so much for me, and I appreciate them so much. I've recommended a whole bunch of my friends who I know are first generation low income students, and they've been able to get into like the TRIO program, and it's just done a lot for a whole bunch of people. And so if you have that program and you meet those requirements, I feel like you should do it. And then I have also been working part-time since the second semester of my sophomore year, while remaining in all those clubs, being active, going to all meetings, staying, doing my part, stuff like that. Whew. So yeah, I know that was a lot, but I feel like that has helped, I feel like that has helped me a lot with, getting into all of my colleges, because, when it comes, down to it, it's literally, your essays, your grades, everything plays a whole, large role. And I feel like once, they've seen, for me, I feel like it's been my essays and my activities and my GPA like, and how they've gone together, that helps me get in, because it shows like how dedicated of a student that I am, while still being able to stay involved in school and like being an active member of my school and stuff like that. And yeah, like a lot of my things have helped with getting, like, being active in those clubs. You know, a lot of my clubs are sponsored by teachers, so being active so many years, I've been able to like build a relationship with those teachers, and a lot of them, well, I wouldn't say a lot because I've only need 3. So those 3 who I've like kept that relationship with were able to write me a recommendation letter, no problem, like even without a brag sheet. And so yeah, there's stuff like that. So now I'm going to talk about basically how, like, any tips that I have, and then I already told y'all how I feel like I got into all of my colleges. Like I said, I had a lot of help with my application, whether it was the teachers from my extracurriculars and like all the activities I've done in the Upper Bound program. Once again, they played a large role in making sure that I reach deadlines, or that I'm even above deadlines, and making sure that I keep a to-do of what I need to get done and making sure I get it. So now I'm going to just go into my tips. So my first thing would be, when it comes to making recommendations, have a brag sheet. So you can look like outlines up, stuff like that, but basically a brag sheet, it lists like all of your accomplishments, your careers, like not careers, but like the jobs you've worked, extracurricular activities you've done, any volunteering you've done. Basically, it brags about everything that you've done throughout your high school career, so that that teacher or whoever's making your recommendation can use that as a reference to basically boast about you to a college. So I do recommend making one of those. Give it to all the people that you want to make you a recommendation. Next would be to definitely start with your applications early. Start as early as possible. So when it came to me like making my list of where I wanted to apply to, I've been researching since I can remember of like different schools that I wanted to apply to, just because I've always been a person to look into my future, which is really bad. It causes me to overthink a whole bunch of other stuff. But regardless of that, I've been looking into colleges, researching them for years, which has helped me, like, whether it was narrow down a list, add more colleges to my list, stuff like that. And then also when it comes to that, you also want to make sure when you're making your list, you want to put deadlines of like whether if you're applying early action, regular decision, whatever you're doing, however you're applying, you want to put those deadlines down so when you're actually applying, you can focus on what you need to focus on at a certain time and make it to those deadlines. So you know to get the earlier ones done, do those first, and then you could do your later ones later. It helps a lot. And then when it comes to college essays, I started those in the summer because like for the Common App for the past 2-3 years has been using the same questions. So I was able to just look up questions and I picked my question early, was able to write a draft early, stuff like that. And the earlier you get it done, the earlier you can have people look at it, which is my second tip, which is have others read your essays, whether they're short answer, the whole like 5-paragraph essays, whatever it is. Make sure you have other people read them, because then it brings more errors to your attention, to their attention, and they can fix. When it comes to that, they can give you suggestions on how you can fix like a certain sentence, or they can, if they know you. So like I had Upper Bound people read mine. They know me very well, so they know like how I talk. They've read several of my essays, so they have been able to look at it and be like, well, read it and be like, that does not sound like you. We can switch this and this and fix it, make it sound better, make it sound more like you, and get more of basically you on paper. Because when it comes to these essays, it's how colleges look at you compared to their other students and see how you fit in, basically, depending on the question. Just making sure I'm still recording. Next would be when it comes to these essays, they're not essays that you want to fluff and fill with a bunch of stuff that's meaningless like you do, or like I have done when you want to reach like school like essay requirements, stuff like that. How you fluff it to meet the page requirement. That's not how you want to do a college essay. You want to approach those very differently. Make sure you answer the question. Don't add anything extra. Be to the point while also meeting your requirements and stuff like that, and having other people's read it and knowing what your question is helps a lot with that, because they didn't it's not their life or what they're writing about, so they're able to read the question, read your essay, and be like, oh yeah, you did answer it, or you only partially answered it, you know, stuff like that. Help you a lot. In terms of the short answer questions, so like those those applications that are like, you know, they give you 5 short answer essays that are like 100 to 250 words. Those are actually, you know, a lot of people, like a lot of college websites have actually said that those are more crucial than the, like, you know, 650, 500 word essays, because in those little words, that college wants you to put as much of yourself in as few words as possible. So you have to make sure it's very concise while also answering the questions. You can get away with less when it comes to short answers. Any words that you think it is. Literally, those were the harder ones for me, 100 to 250 words, because it was so easy to say too much or add a certain sentence that didn't fit, just because like I felt like it helped like transition and stuff like that. So yeah, and then for all essays, what did I say? For all essays, be very aware of the word requirements, whether that is the maximum or minimum amount, because like, so yeah, because basically if you don't meet the minimum or you exceed the maximum, some colleges, some like people who read them will just throw the entire application away. You don't want that to happen. You want them to really consider you for the school. So you have to follow all directions. That comes back again to follow every single last direction. Every single thing. Because it could be something so crucial that you didn't even think about, and next thing you know, you're rejected over something so small. So yeah, those are basically my tips. And then also, be sure to apply for scholarships. Even if you feel like you don't need them or anything like that. College is expensive. You know, any help that you need or you can get, do it. And you can do that through the institution or outside scholarships. So I do recommend applying to both. When it comes to institutional scholarships, you know, you get more, I wouldn't say you get more options on those, but, you know, there's certain requirements for those. So, like, some of those might be a little harder because, like, say they have a certain ACT requirement or certain GPA, stuff like that. Say you don't fit those, and you have outside scholarships that you can go to, but still apply, just in case. And then also with institutional scholarships, sometimes there's the institution scholarships, and then sometimes your majors, like your major department, your department major, your, like, I can't think, like, the department your major is in. Sometimes they will have, like, that college or whatever, like, say, like, the College of Liberal Arts and stuff like that. They will have their own scholarships that you can also apply to. So be sure to, like, just look into that. Look into your institution. Look into your college that you will be in as your institution, and just find as many scholarships as possible. And then when it also comes to that, you also want to make sure that you list what scholarships that you have applied for, as well as their deadlines along with that. Because with your application, the application will have one deadline while the scholarship will have another, whether that is extended or not. A lot of scholarships also require that you apply before you do the scholarship. So therefore that comes when you're writing down deadlines, it helps a lot, because you may have to apply early action somewhere that you were going to do regular decision, but you need to apply early so that you can do the scholarship. So be aware of that. And then when it comes to outside scholarships, there's so many websites out there that give you so many scholarships to apply for, with like various requirements. So like there's so many scholarships out there for short people, for, you know, certain colored eyes, for if you're a minority. There's several scholarships just for being a minority. Use it to your advantage, please. There are scholarships just for what career path that you might be going after, stuff like that. So there's so many scholarships out there. Please use them. So down below, I am actually going to have probably just 2, because they're ones that like I've used, but there's so many more. So I will have down below links to FastWeb and College Greenlight, because those are my top 2. There's several more out there, but I find these were like easy for me. Well, I wouldn't say easy for me, but they like had a really good website. So when it comes to College Greenlight, that I say that would be my favorite because it gives you ratings of each scholarship. So basically it'd tell you how much effort you may need to put in, how difficult the scholarship is, and how competitive it is. So that helps a lot because it's like, okay, you know, you could try really hard for this and you would have a better chance of getting it depending on the competition, stuff like that. Helps a lot. So I will have those links down below. Let me know if you get any, and you know, just let me know any success you have. And then there's also many local scholarships that you could apply to where you live at, basically. So where I live at, a whole bunch of banks, you would not believe how many banks give out scholarships for college. So many. So there's banks, some restaurants give out scholarships, like if like your job may give out scholarships, you know, like not like your like particular department, but like if you are like a corporate business and like, well, if you work for a certain business, you could just look up that website for that entire business and see if they give jobs for their employees, stuff like that. What else would be like local? I know a lot, like if you have a whole bunch of organizations that like are in your community, a whole bunch of those, they give out scholarships, you know, and they're not really like certain websites for those that I could give you because like they're local, so it's like literally that's like a ask around kind of thing. So that's my tip on scholarships. And then last but not least, I just want to give some more tips on when you're making a college list. So you want to make sure that you have safety schools, max schools, and reach schools in your list of colleges. Safeties are basically ones that you know you're going to get into. Like, without a doubt, you exceed the expectations and you're for sure going to get into them. Max schools are where you meet the requirements. Yeah, and even it's a possibility you could get into. Reach schools are where you might be below the requirements and there's less of a chance of you getting into, basically. And then also, my next tip is basically like be reasonable with your list. It's a lot of people say it's common to apply to 8 to 10 colleges because FAFSA, you can put 10 colleges on your FAFSA, which is like your financial aid. And that's how many colleges you can send your financial aid to. But when it comes to that, applying to that many, if you are one who does not get fee waivers for your applications, paying for all those colleges, you know, that gets pretty pricey. So you might want to apply to less or, you know, more depending on your situation. I get fee waivers, so I applied to 14 without a problem. But when it comes to that, I had to pick and choose what I wanted on my FAFSA. But for me, I found a trick, literally. Basically, like, for those that I did early action for, I put those on there first. And, like what I knew would be my top schools, I put those on my FAFSA first. And then the schools that I were kind of iffy about, I didn't. And then once I got my financial aid back from those schools, and, like, I realized, like, that wouldn't work for me, I was able to take that one off and put another one off and see what they offered me. And it helped me a lot that way. So, yeah. My next tip would be, when it comes to out-of-state schools, be aware that it's possible that they will not give you money. It happens. Especially depending on where the school is. Because, like, say it's in a big city, like where I was planning on, you know, going to. If you watch my college reaction videos, I do not want to be in-state. I live in Illinois. I don't hate it, but, like, it's not where I want to live. And I was really focused on where I go to college is where I'm going to live at. Like, I don't know. That's the connection I'm in my brain. Because, like I said, I think about my future a lot. So it's like, I'm like, you know, I'm spending 4 years of my life there. I may end up just moving there. So it's like, I wanted to be where I wanted to live at. And I want to live in either Georgia or Texas. So I was like, I need to go to school there. But your girl's also going to end up in graduate school. So I'll be in school for about 8 years. So it's fine that I can go to an undergrad school, you know, where they give me the most money, and then graduate school, go where I'd like to go. So, when it comes to out-of-states, consider, you know, financial aid, but also consider where you will be most happy at. yeah, that's all what I wanted to say about out of states. And when it comes to, if you are planning to go out of state, you want to apply to more scholarships, because like out of states you get less financial aid because they have their own students, you know, stuff like that. So you want to apply to more scholarships that will help you help you be able to go to out of state. Then I also wanted to mention, I just had it and I forgot. Shoot, I hate when that happens. Visit visit your schools. So like when you make your list and everything like that, you want to be able to visit as many as you're able to. That way you can feel the atmosphere and stuff like that, to see if you feel like you can be on that campus, or if you fit in, and like how the people are there, stuff like that. A whole bunch of schools also have like certain dates where they have like an open house day, and you can just go, and there will be tours and stuff like that that you can go on. And then there's also schools that will have like a day in the life, or like where you can basically go through a whole day where you like sit in the lecture, you like have a tour, see certain residence halls, stuff like that. I did that, really enjoyed it, and it helps you really get a feel of the college more than just like a walking around campus watching other students type of thing. So yeah, if you're a college you're applying to does that, make sure to register for that. Some, like, they're free. Well, most of them are free. Like, ones I did were free, you know. So yeah, that helps a lot. And yeah, that is basically everything that I had to say. But yeah, that will be all for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below. And if there are more questions that need to be more detailed, you can DM me on Instagram, and I will try to get to you as fast as possible. Be sure to like and subscribe, hit that bell, and follow me on all of my social media. And also look forward to a why I chose the college that I'm going to video. I did announce it on my Instagram, so if you've seen that, or if you know, I'd prefer you not say, but I mean at this point it is public, so it doesn't really matter. And I'm not doing an official college reveal video because I did that, so yeah. But I'm also not going to say it now. So yeah, I really hope y'all enjoyed, and that's basically it. I will see y'all in the next one. Please be sure to look out for many more college videos, vlogs, because I do plan on just doing a whole bunch of vlogs throughout my college career and stuff like that. And I'm getting very tired, so I will see y'all in the next one. Have a great day. Peace and blessings.